Lake Keowee in the upstate of South Carolina is one of the country's most scenic, sought-after big water lakes. At just under 20,000 acres of water, it offers from top to bottom Blue Ridge Mountain views and has become a destination and relocation hotspot in recent years for a number of new families. It's most well known, 1, for its mountain views, 2, for its emerald green water, and 3, according to sources, water so clean that you can actually drink it. But don't take that from me. In this video, we are going to talk about Lake Keowee in 2025. Is it worth moving to? We're going to talk about real estate, of course. We're going to talk about communities around the lake, and we're going to talk about things to do and what that means for you. Let's do it. As always, my friends, my name is Will Sawyer, your friend in real estate here in the upstate of South Carolina, and it's our goal with this channel that we are your #1 resource for all the things that you need to know about Lake Keowee and the upstate of South Carolina. We aim to provide you the most relevant, the most reliable, and the most practical information you can find on the internet about Lake Keowee. And as a realtor who helped over 100 families in 2024, if you decide to relocate to Lake Keowee, I would love to be the realtor that you choose to work with. So please shoot me an email at my email below. I would love to meet you and schedule a call. So first up, let's talk about communities around Lake Keowee. So the best known is Seneca, which is at the base of Lake Keowee. This is home to about 10,000 residents. It is just west of Clemson. It is a quaint, simple, small little southern town with a nice main street and really acts as an extension of Clemson, and Clemson acts as an extension of Easley, and Easley acts as an extension of Greenville. Now, if you live in Seneca, you probably live around the lake or you live on the lake. There's a big community feel here in Seneca, and if Seneca doesn't have what you need, then Clemson will likely have it, and if Clemson doesn't have it, then Greenville will likely have it, which is only about 45 minutes away. As the lake has become much more popular in the last 10 years, Seneca has grown significantly, as have the other towns around Lake Keowee as well. For instance, Pickens, which is in the northeast corner of Lake Keowee. So if you live on the northern portion of the lake, you might have a Pickens address, and you more than likely will be living in Pickens County. Pickens is another small, quaint, simple southern town up in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. And Pickens sits about 20 minutes north of Seneca, probably 25 minutes from Clemson, and about 45 minutes from Greenville, very similar to Seneca itself. So as the demand in Pickens County has grown for more and more residents, Pickens has actually pledged $100 million for a new water treatment plant that they are beginning in 2025. This is going to help serve more people and provide higher quality water to residents. And if you don't live in Seneca or if you don't live in Pickens, you'll have other small towns like Fairplay or 6 Mile that might be registered as your address, but the other big town around Lake Keowee would be Clemson. So Clemson technically isn't on the shores of Lake Keowee like Pickens is and Seneca is. However, people who live on Lake Keowee will oftentimes go into Clemson for their everyday essentials like grocery shopping or going to big retail stores or going out to eat. Clemson is home to Clemson University, which is one of South Carolina's largest educational institutions and one of its most revered. With the success that the Clemson football program has had over the last 10 or 15 years at the hands of Dabo Swinney, who is also a resident of Lake Keowee, Clemson has seen a lot of growth, as has the lake. The university is actually adding a College of Veterinary Medicine, which has long been awaited because Clemson is such an agricultural heavy school. A vet school within the university just makes a lot of sense. So I know a lot of alumni and a lot of current and upcoming students are very, very excited about that. And then finally, Greenville, South Carolina, which is one of the South's best cities, having one of the best main streets in all of America, is only about 45 minutes to an hour away from Lake Keowee. So Lake Keowee is just west of Greenville, just north of Seneca, just northwest of Clemson, and just southwest of Pickens. And it's comfortably situated amongst all these little towns. And then you have the larger city, which is Greenville, like I said, only about an hour away. So a lot of residents will go into Greenville to either go out to eat on the weekends or do their big box shopping, like going to Costco or going to Sam's or going to one of the many boutiques that Greenville has on Augusta Street or on Main Street. All right, so now let's transition into real estate on Lake Keowee. So back in 2016, the Federal Regulatory Energy Commission issued a 30-year operating license for the Duke Energy power plant on Lake Keowee. Now, the premise for Lake Keowee back in the middle of the 20th century when the lake was built was operating this power plant. Originally, they signed a 50-year term, and in 2016 that renewed and they re-signed a 30-year term. So as far as residents go and real estate values go, this is a great sign. Lake Keowee is so highly sought after because of its water levels, because of its water clarity, and because of its water quality. And residents have the privilege of knowing that at least for the next 20 years or so, those standards are not going to change. So if you're considering other lakes like Lake Hartwell, which is just south of Lake Keowee, or Lake Norman, or Lake Oconee in Georgia, when you're looking at properties with realtors there, I would ask them, what does the water look like? What's the drought response process for the water in times of drought? And what is the lake standard for maintaining water quality and maintaining water levels? It's very clear that here on Lake Keowee, water levels and water quality and drought response is going to maintain its very high standard for the foreseeable future because of this partnership and management by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. So where's the real estate market headed in the next 12 months for Lake Keowee? Well, let's start with units sold. So in 2023, 354 properties sold on Lake Keowee, and about 15% less in 2024 sold at about 316. And this is on par for the rest of the country. 2024 will be known as the year in almost 30 years that had the least amount of homes closed across the United States. So it's no surprise to me that less units closed on Lake Keowee in 2024 compared to 2023. Now, specifically for waterfront property, in 2023, 185 homes sold on the shores of Lake Keowee, and in 2024, slightly less, 180 waterfront properties sold on the shores of Lake Keowee. Now, as we saw a roughly 15% reduction in units sold all around the lake, this is interesting because only, say, 5 or 6 less properties sold on the lake. So what about home prices around Lake Keowee? So in 2023, the average sales price for a home owner around the lake was $1.2 million. And in 2024, that jumped up to $1.4 million. Now, specifically for waterfront property in 2023, the average sales price was $1.8 million. And in 2024, the average sales price for a home on Lake Keowee was $2 million. And this was a common trend across the country. We saw units down, we saw prices up, and we saw inventory slightly increasing. Now, moving into this next 12-month period, I would anticipate inventory on the lake to drastically increase because now we are through the election, emotions have kind of settled down. A lot of people that were on the fence about bringing their property to the market will probably be doing so in the spring and summer of 2025. So over this next 12-month period, I would anticipate closed sales to increase further. I would anticipate prices to go up. We won't probably see price increases that we've seen in years past. I mean, in the last 10 years, we've seen 100% appreciation on the lake on average. So my prediction for 2025, for example, would be a 4 to 6% increase in prices, an increase in closed sales, and an increase in inventory available for sale. All right, so if you're a prospective resident of Lake Keowee, what is there to do around the lake other than being on the water and doing water sports and riding your jet skis and paddle boarding and sitting on the dock with your family? Well, there's quite a bit of things to do. So if you're an avid pickleball player, you can go and play at South County Cove Park, or you could go and play at Nettles and Clemson. These are the two most popular public destinations for pickleball. And of course, specific communities will have their own tennis courts that have been transitioned or can be transitioned into a pickleball court. So if you're living in a community with amenities, be on the lookout for pickleball courts and tennis courts in your community as well. And then there's the Spring Fling on the lake with food trucks and live music. There's a huge 4th of July fireworks show, as there is on mostly every lake. And there's also a Christmas boat parade every year. If you're an avid golfer, there's several public golf courses around Lake Keowee, including the Clemson Walker course. or Boscobel in Pendleton. There's also a number of private golf courses around Lake Keowee, including all of the golf courses in the Cliffs communities, and the reserve at Lake Keowee also has a private golf club too. And if you are specifically looking to move into the Cliffs or specifically looking to move into the reserve, in each of those communities there are tens of millions of dollars worth of amenities, so you are never going to be bored if you're a resident in those communities. And lastly, Lake Keowee Marina is expected to add a new restaurant tenant in the spring of 2025 with a complete overhaul of their live music scene, their food menu, and their beverage menu, which is going to make that a much more enjoyable place and another place to grab a bite to eat, grab a drink, and listen to live music on the lake. So after hearing all of that information, my one question to you would be, why would you not call Lake Keowee your next home in 2025? And if you are thinking about doing just that, please do me a favor. Shoot me an email at my email below, or shoot me a text at my cell phone number below. I would love to chat with you about what your relocation to Lake Keowee could look like in the next 12 months. As always, my friends, my name is Will Sawyer, your friend in real estate. And until next time, stay safe. Well, this video is going to be about Greenville County, the upstate of South Carolina. Great thing to do and easily in the evening. I'm a local real estate expert here in the area. All time, we're right behind me is a really cool place called Freight Yard.